Going back deep into ASA Mitaka's past, there was a lot to uncover. But one of the most significant is how ASA fell in love with DENJI and why it works so well. Let's get the Bento community to 11,000 subscribers. Make sure your friends are subscribed, drop a like to help spread Chainsaw Man even further into the YouTube algorithm. I don't know what the hell that voice was there. ASA Mitaka very clearly pseudo-confessed her love to DENJI in chapter 207 of Chainsaw Man after returning the favor at the end of the Falling Devil arc when DENJI saved her. In a moment that will go down in history, as ASA Mitaka falls upward to her death, she has given up and lets the depression and suicidal thoughts overcome her. This is one of the lowest and most significant moments in ASA Mitaka's life, as this is her surrendering to her demons, or rather her devils. But this goes much further than the pleasantries ASA loves so much. The reason DENJI's plea to her was so effective had nothing much to do with those things, but because her plea reminded her of somebody important to her. Her mother, Mama Mitaka. Early on, it was revealed that ASA Mitaka was saved after a random attack from the Typhoon Devil, in which they are both running to safety as ASA spots an injured cat, who turns out later to be revealed as Cramben. The person who saved her was her mother, who sacrificed her life to save her daughters. This moment was character defining and is the moment that sends ASA Mitaka down the path of despair. Though this moment tells us much more than any of Asa's trips or deaths of any pet or any of her friends, it is just a couple simple panels from this moment which shows why Asa is the way that she is, or I guess used to be. Mama Mitaka was simply in Asa's support circle. She was the one to help nurture some of her best traits, like her artistic merits in poetry, her love for animals, which I guess came from her mother, and was so supportive of her fashion as well. I mean, Asa had pretty short tomboyish hair, but it also seems as if Asa was being raised by her mom and her mom alone, with not a peep of any kind about a potential father in her life. And let me just tell you something. The way Fujimoto drew Mama Mitaka, I'll take the bullet, guys. Asa lost her mother at an important and crucial time in her life as a teenager. With her developing into an adult, her mother's death essentially cuts off any sort of guidance she needed in her life. Combine that with the clear thematic nods to Asa being on the spectrum, her reliance on her support from her mother in the flashbacks, and the fact she responds so well to when people support her, for example, Yuko, Cramben, Fami, and of course, Din Din, it is clear that the missing thing in Asa's life isn't anything but someone who can selflessly support her and be there for her. Which is why these characters I just listed off are so important, and why, when she is let down by them in some way or form, it causes her to retreat into her shell. She's a bit of a mama's girl in that sense and needs the kind affirmation from someone she looks up to or deeply respects. This is something I as well struggle with in my own life, so I really appreciate that Fujimoto, through subtle context clues, is able to commentate on something a lot of people struggle with, which is family and the proper support structures and what they look like. It also is just another reason why I love Asa so goddamn much. She's just like me, for real, for real. So wrapping back around to the Falling Devil moment, this is why Asa at a core respects what DENJI has to say and listens to him. This may not be the moment she falls for him outright, we will get to that one in a moment, but it is the moment that Asa realized DENJI provides something that Mama Mitaka, Yuko, and Cramben, the things that she needs. Selfless support. DENJI risked his life to save Asa. That is, in essence, the same thing that Mama Mitaka and Yuko had done to save her. Asa truly appreciates that because it is symbolic of their nurturing nature, and DENJI is no different here. But here's the thing, Asa, on that basis alone, might have appreciated him saving her, but it wasn't until the jailbreak did things start to tie together for her. Because after that jailbreak, Asa Mitaka realizes that DENJI did all of these things she judged him for a good cause. He got chopped up into bits to protect Tokyo. He took the 1,000 yen, which led Asa to tell him to go to hell because he is trying to raise and support the Hellion, known only as Nayuta. After she saved him from certain eternal damnation via experimentation, that could be the name of an album, it all started to connect in her brain, and thus is what led to her gaining a huge moment of respect for DENJI. But that all changed when afterwards DENJI felt guilty over Nayuta being taken by the mob from before. He is ridden and overcome with guilt in the exact way that Asa was when her world kept dying. Denji felt he was the reason Nayuta was MIA, and when her head was served to him on a platter, it cemented in his mind he was the issue. But here is the strange part. So did ASA in a way. Well, okay, so maybe this is me theorizing a little bit, but I don't doubt that ASA probably, though, felt in some ways she was the reason Nayuta was beheaded. After all, she is the trip girl who trips and sometimes kills something because of it. Either way, this perfect concoction of awfulness created the common ground between these two dorks and allowed ASA to really observe and see Denji as someone who she wants to lift up and protect. Now this is even more interesting because it shows that her mother's influence on her is felt until this very day in the story. She is channeling that nurturing side of herself because she knows her mother meant so much to her and that her selfless love for her and that nurturing is what made her who she is. So naturally, ASA wants to return the same kind of love to a person who is literally just like her, because she instinctively understands that they are similar despite their unique circumstances. And how she knows that kindness is by promising to save him countless times and do whatever he wants to do because that is what her mother did for her. In other words, she knows what will fix Denji because it, well, fixed her before, I guess. That is why this is the one thing she is always confident in doing. Because she knows for a fact she can save Denji because she just needs to get that dog in her and let it shine and radiate. She just needs that confidence. On the side of Denji, however, it is very interesting. Denji has a lot of experience in being a father to Nayuta and understands how to nurture something. This is evident with the context clues early on, with Denji being able to grow plants and water them properly while Nayuta's would all just wither and die away. Denji is quite good at raising and nurturing people and just things. I mean, it's in your face in part 2 when you compare Nayuta to Makima. Nayuta is more or less a rugrat and a little bit of a brat, but is at the heart of things quite a good kid who is very, very human. Maybe one of the most human-feeling devils in the entire series, and that is all thanks to Denji and Denji alone. Makima was manipulative and a groomer and had zero soul within her. Her gaze showed that there wasn't a person in her, just a machine acting on pure instinct, which was to control everything. Denji was the only dog, though, she couldn't leash, and if anything, maybe he was the one to domesticate her in the end. So Denji has what ASA is missing. This is like the most well thought out romance in shonen I've ever seen, and I've been watching anime and reading manga every day for the last 10 years, and I've been making YouTube content for like 15 years now. This is truly some amazing stuff with a lot of subtle intricacies and symbolisms. ASA needs Denji to move forward, and Denji needs ASA just as much, maybe even more. Because what we can see is that ASA MITAKA will continue moving forward day in and day out, and always seems to find a way to fall into situations that may harm her, but as well, save her. There will always be someone to save ASA because she has luck. But Denji has zero luck. Denji has none, and is beaten down like a dog by society and the people around him every day. He is taken advantage of, used, and then discarded like trash. Nobody, not anyone, has ever wanted to help Denji from a sense of pure human compassion outside of Rize. Everyone else in his life has died, has left him, or has used him up. And when Denji tells Asa Yoru that it is okay if she turns him into a weapon, they both can't do it. They both love Denji in a selfless way. Asa, for the reasons I mentioned, and Yoru, well, Yoru is a bit more complicated. So maybe we'll have to say that for a follow-up video if that gets enough comments showing support for it below. So did I miss anything? What are your thoughts on Asa Den and where you think it may be headed? Please join my Discord and be sure to check out my Don to Don channel where we cover new chapters every week. Thank you all so much for watching. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.